wanted to show you guys this beautiful side table that I just finished. I am so excited about it. It is my first DIY furniture makeover project. This was actually given to us by my husband's grandmother. It's made from a nice solid wood. It is super heavy. There was some, unknown stains, and it needed a makeover. Other than painting my face and painting my nails, seriously, you guys, I knew nothing about painting. I did a lot of research. I looked at a lot of blogs, a lot of YouTube videos, home decor inspiration things on Pinterest. Let me show you guys what stuff I bought at the store. So the first thing that I purchased was this Black & Decker mouse sander. The paint was starting to chip off. It is super powerful. I'm really happy with this purchase. The second thing that I picked up was this sanding block. This is a 3M sanding block. I think it's a 100. It's a medium grit. Don't feel like you have to run out and buy a sander. I could have done the entire job with this little sanding block or with some sandpaper. I think it still would have come out just as beautifully. After sanding comes priming. So I decided to go with a spray primer. No, I probably would not use a spray primer again next time. We live in New England. It is freezing outside, and I'm not going outside to prime. So I think that next time I'm going to see about using a paint-on primer. If you get a latex paint, then you're going to want a latex primer. And if you get an oil-based paint, then you're going to want to get an oil-based primer. Did not like was the fact that I actually had to use the whole can just for this small piece. This is a Valspar Premium Primer with Micro Mist. There was a lot of misting happening. Yeah. Misting went on. For this beautiful white color, the Rust-Oleum Painter's Touch Ultra Cover Premium Latex Semi-Gloss in white. That's a mouthful. But I painted the entire outside. The only part that I did not do is the inside. I would probably go back and paint it a Tiffany blue. I was really happy with this. I had plenty left over for more projects. 2 thin coats, and just know that it does dry really quickly. So work in small areas. Go over it one time in one direction with the brush, just to make sure all your strokes are going the same way. I decided to go with the Purdy brushes. Purdy, that's how they say. These had a lot of good reviews. So just like when you apply your makeup, you want to have a really amazing brush and it gives you a better finish. The same thing goes for your paintbrushes. I found them in a 3-pack at Home Depot for $20. I really wanted to get brushes that were, 1, gonna give me an amazing finish, and 2, that were gonna last me a really long time. 2-inch XL Sprig by Purdy. This big one I used on the top and on the side. The 1-inch XL, just getting in these lines and all of these smaller little pieces, I use that on. No, I don't think you absolutely have to have a painter's cup. It has this little magnetic little block right here. That is to hold your paintbrush. It came in really handy to be able to switch out the brushes. Go to American-Hijab.com and you will find out all the information that you need to know about this project. Feel free to send me emails if you have questions. Let me know if there are other decor and DIY videos that you would like to see. If you want to see how to do a furniture makeover, then just keep watching.
Okay guys, so first I started this project by taking out the drawers, and then I broke out my Black & Decker sander and I just started sanding the top, and I just kept sanding until I felt like it was really smooth, and then I moved on to the sides. If nothing else, then the goal with sanding is just to get off the shiny part of the furniture if you can. I mean, if you have a piece that you're not going to be able to take the paint off, don't worry about it. Your goal for the most part is just to get off the shine and to get it nice and smooth and just ready for the paint or the primer to adhere to it. I am wearing a safety mask here, and that is just because even though the Black & Decker has a little compartment to hold the dust, it still kicks up a lot of dust, so this was just for safety. And this is what the 3M sanding block looks like in the package. I used my sanding block mostly for the front, all the little detailed areas. Like I said, I probably could have used it for this entire side table and it would have been just as beautiful as it came out. And once I finished sanding the entire piece, all getting into all the little grooves and everything, then it was time for me to move on to the drawers. I started by using a screwdriver and taking off the hardware. Once I have all of the hardware off, then I can go ahead and start sanding the drawers as well. Just the same as I did with the main piece, and just being sure to get into all the little details. And then once I am done sanding, I just used a damp cloth to wipe off all of the dust from the drawers and from the side table. And you guys can see here that I didn't get off all the paint on the drawers, but I was able to at least take off the shiny top coat. When I finish cleaning off the whole piece, then I just leave it to dry. After it is completely dry, then I went back with the primer, once again using my safety mask. And I just shake the Valspar primer for, I think I had to shake it for like a whole minute. I think that's what the directions said. And then I just start spraying. You guys, it's just like any hairspray or anything you would ever use. You just go ahead and spray it all over, trying to get a nice even coat everywhere. Now you guys can see what I mean here about misting. Lots of misting happened. So pretty much you just keep spraying until you've sprayed everything. I mean, there's nothing really to it. So you guys know by now that in each one of my DIYs, I always give you guys the chance to like learn from my mistakes. So in this tutorial, it's this: don't spray paint in the house. Even if you're like me and you think you could just open all the windows and it'll be okay, it's not okay. So real quick, this is pretty much what it looked like after I finished priming. It wasn't perfect, but the brown was mostly covered, so it was a really good base for me to get started with my white paint. The primer coat dried really quickly, and I probably could have painted the same day, but I actually waited until the next day to paint. I popped open my can of paint and I gave it a really good stir. And then I poured probably about 1/4 of a cup of paint into my painter's cup. And as you can see here, it really is just a small amount of paint. You don't need much at all. It really goes pretty far. And now finally for the fun part, I finally got to start painting after all of that priming and prepping. So as you guys can see, I started in small strokes, just doing half of the top and then moving to the other half of the top of the side table. And when I was all done with that, then I went back and did some long strokes across the whole top of this piece, just to make sure that all of my paint strokes were going in the same direction and that it dried really nicely. After I finished the top, then I moved on to the side, and on the sides I still used the same brush that I was using on top, and that was the 2-inch Purdy. So what you can see me doing here is I'm just kind of working the paint up into the overhang, the little edge under there, and just using short strokes kind of to cut in with the paint, so it'll be ready for when I want to do my longer strokes. I don't have to worry about getting into those little corners and all the little details, and I can just do nice smooth long strokes after I have this part done. Once I finished both sides, then I just went ahead and I did the front of the side table, still using that same 2-inch Purdy brush, and just trying to get a really nice, good, but thin coat of paint on there. It was pretty much at this point that I switched to the smaller Purdy brush, and I just wanted to get into those little details, like I said, all the little edges and everything. I didn't use it as much during the first coat of paint, but when I got to the second coat of paint, I used it for like everything, every little detail, every little corner, nook and cranny that I could get into with that small detailed brush, and then I used it a lot. Here you see me just cleaning off my paintbrush as much as I can on the side of my painter's cup, and then I put my brush into a sandwich baggie. I tried to push out all the air from the baggie, and then I used just some tape, whatever tape you have, and closed it off, sealed it around the bottom, and I'm just going to go ahead and put this into my refrigerator. This is how I'm going to keep my paintbrush nice and moist. This is an amazing trick, you guys. So if you know that you're going to have to go back back and do a second coat of paint, then instead of just having to go ahead and wash out your brushes and go through all that and wait for them to dry, then just go ahead, wrap them in a sandwich baggie and put them in the refrigerator until you're ready to do your second coat. After I had my 2-inch sprig put away in the refrigerator, then I just used my smaller 1-inch just to go ahead and paint the drawers. This one was really amazing, you guys, for small little detailing. It really is like the perfect brush. I think it is probably going to be one of my favorites for all of my future DIY makeovers. I can definitely see myself using this brush a lot. When I was done painting the drawers, I just went ahead and I stored away this brush the same way I did with the other one in the refrigerator. And this is probably the easiest part in this entire tutorial, spraying the hardware. The only thing you guys don't see me doing here is using some alcohol to wipe off the hardware first, just to clean off any grit or grime or anything. And this is what it looked like after its first coat of paint. It's starting to get a lot better. I let the first coat of paint dry for probably like 3 or 4 hours, but truth be told, guys, it was probably done after the first hour. This stuff dries so fast, but I just wanted to give it a little bit of time like the paint can suggested. Of course, when I opened my paint can again, I gave it a good stir. I broke out my brushes from the refrigerator. They were still nice and moist and ready to go, and I did the same exact thing I did with the first coat of paint. I think the only thing that I changed the second time, like I told you guys, was I used that detailed brush a little bit more just to get in all those cracks and crevices and any little area that I saw that I really knew that I wanted to be covered either on the main piece or on the drawers. This was the point at which I made sure that I had it done. And that's it, just 2 thin coats, as thin as you can make them, and still get everything covered, and you should have a gorgeous piece when you are done. Once I was done with the second coat of paint, and then I let it dry probably for about 3 or 4 more hours, and that was it. Once I was confident that I could go ahead and put the hardware back on, then I got out my screwdriver, I put the hardware back on, and I was just so excited about the way it turned out, you guys. Alright, I hope that you guys love this tutorial. Please leave comments and any requests down below, and inshallah there will be plenty more home decor and furniture makeover videos coming your way, inshallah. Alright, you guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next video. Assalamu alaikum.